Hello, students. How are you? I hope everybody is good today, right? So we're gonna move on, on our IELTS lesson. Okay, we have to focus on because today's lesson, I guess, it's not so difficult, but it's too many questions for one listening. Yeah, that's my description of that. So welcome back, to our routine, right? And of course, don't forget that my student who lives in Japan, next week we have Golden Week, right? So it's holiday, which means that we don't have lesson. Okay, but this week we do. So focus on, okay, pay attention and let it go. So please open your book, and go to page. Let me check here, page 38, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 38. Listening. Okay, today we're gonna go on the listening on part 4. Okay, so of course I'm gonna share my screen with you. Check it out. Let's go here. Okay, so this is the paper, right? Part 4, questions 31 to 40. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger just to make it, I don't know, better for you maybe. So complete the notes below. Write one word only for each answer, which means that we are gonna be able to write one word. Yeah, that's the name, one word only. And so let's take a look, right? Let's analyze the information. Okay, so here we have the title, like the topic of the listening, which is the history of weather forecasting. Weather forecasting. So the history of weather forecasting. The history, it means like how, this weather forecasting probably was created. Yeah, like how it became a reality. Okay, so do you know weather forecasting? Weather forecasting is that science, let's say, right? I don't know if it's really a science, but if it's this technique, that some scientists and some people have, that they use some technology, or or the the weather itself, to predict, to guess how the weather it's gonna be in the next day, for example, right? Oh, tomorrow it's gonna be raining, but tomorrow, how do I know that? Because we have weather forecasting, like techniques. That's the thing. So I guess you got it, right? Anyway, so let's go back to the questions. Okay, so we begin here in this first topic, right? Ancient cultures. As you can see here, the question paper, it's divided into topics. Like first topic, of course, the general topic is the history of weather forecasting, but we have these subtopics, subheadings, like ancient cultures, ancient Greeks, Middle Ages, 15th and 19th century, and then goes on. So why we have that? Why we have this in bold, right? Like blacker, let's say. So just to make it easier for you, like to kind of like you get like of what part are we talking about here, right? So of course, probably in the beginning of the listening, when we do the listening, they're going to be talking about like these ancient cultures, and then after they're going to change for Greeks, and then so on. So it's just for you to locate yourself, just to not get lost during the listening and go like, I don't know, like what part is this listening now? Is it from the ancient Greeks? Okay, so of course follow these subtopics, subheadings. All right. So if we have no problem here, let's go to the questions. I'm gonna move myself a little bit to the other side, and let's go. Ancient cultures, old cultures. Question number 1. Many cultures believed that floods and other disasters were involved into the creation of the world. Very good. Sorry, my bad, my bad. Okay, so they thought that, right? Again, important words for us to analyze here. Okay, so floods. Do you know what is floods? If you don't know, it's a word that we can check it out. Okay, I'm gonna give you a quickly definition of flood. Okay, I'm gonna read it for you in English. So try your best to understand that. Okay, to get the meaning of that. Okay, so Flood. What is flood? Let me get back here for you. Okay. Flood is when water covers something, is when we have like more water than space. Okay. Example. If water floods a place, it covers it. Example. There is a sentence right now. Water burst through the dam and flooded local village. Yeah. Dam is like that big constructions, yeah, where they keep, yeah, they maintain water in one place so that people make, that people use it. Okay. Of course, we could have used a river. Okay, let's suppose that we have a river, and then for some specific reason it started raining a lot, so the level of the water in the river started increasing, going up, and then start flooding. Okay, so that is the meaning of this word. All right, so let's go on. Let's get back actually, right? So I guess you understood that. Next one, we have the 31, right? And of course, again, yeah, many cultures believe that floods and other disasters were involved in the creation of the world. So many cultures invented no 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 and other ceremonies to make the weather gods friendly. Yeah. So as in the past people believed, yeah, that this was part of the world, so they invented no 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 or other ceremonies to make the weather, yeah, gods friendly. This word God here is like God, the God that we believe, yeah. But why is it using lowercase letter and s? Because yeah, in the past, you remember, right? They believed in many different types of gods. Like, I mean, Greek gods. What else? Um, from other cultures, right? I forgot the name. Okay, but like Thor, like the god of thunder, it comes from some specific Nordic. I guess it's Nordic culture. Okay. Anyway, so what is the word missing there? Okay. Uh, People needed to observe and interpret the sky to ensure, to make sure they're, no, 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 no. Okay. And next one, around 650 BC, Babylonians started forecasting. Yeah, started like checking the weather using weather phenomena, such as. Okay, so they use it something, and then we say we are weather phenomena, some kind of phenomenon, right? Such as, and then we have to get the example. So, what phenomenon? Like, what is that exactly? What are we talking about? Okay. Ancient Greeks. Now we see that we changed the topic here. So focus on a more scientific approach. So let's see. Aristotle tried to explain the formation of various weather phenomena. Okay, so this is an affirmation. So Aristotle also described halos and na. So let's go. We have this word. Let me put the pronunciation of that. Okay, give me a second. Okay, let's see. Hollows. Just a second. Okay, so let's go. Here we have this in the plural form, yeah, because we have an S, yeah. But the singular form is like this. Halo. Halo. So probably here the pronunciation is like halos. Halos. Okay. So what is that? I'm gonna read the description for you, right? Let me get back to you. Of course, remember we are talking about weather, right? It's halo in a sense of weather. So halo is a circle of light around the head of a, for example, holy person in religious painting. Like this is one example. Okay, of course I'm gonna give you more, but halo is like that circle thing that we see on and when we see paintings of angels or saint people. So this is one description for halo. Okay, and let me get another one here. Okay, and or of course when we are talking about the weather, is like there is this light circle around an object or around something. I'm gonna get some picture for you. Okay, so I'm gonna read here now a description only for weather. Okay, So a halo is a ring of light that forms around the sun or moon, as the sun or moon light refracts off ice crystals, okay, present in a thin veil of cirrus clouds. Okay, so sometimes, especially in very cold nights, yeah, when we look up to the moon, for example, we can see the moon, and then it looks like there is like some light around, yeah, some round, some circle light around. So that thing we call halo. Okay, I have some picture here, but I don't think this is a good picture. Okay, but I mean, this is the sun, and then there is this like this little thing around. So you see that? So this is a halo. I mean, I hope you have gotten that, right? Anyway, let's get back to what matters. Okay, so coming back, so of course Aristotle is also described the halos and something else. So what was that? Next one, Middle Ages. Aristotle's work. Okay, so again we changed it. It's still Aristotle, but we are talking about the Middle Ages right now. Okay, Idade Média, right? So Aristotle's work considered accurate. I mean, something that is accurate is something that it's like very precise. Okay, so many proverbs, example about the significance of the color of the passed on accurate information. Okay, so again, so many proverbs, and proverb is in Portuguese, right? Okay, example about the significance of the color of the something. So the color of what? Okay, so this thing, yeah, this description, pass it on accurate information. Yeah, so just gave like a very precise, very detailed, very good, trustable information. Okay, and moving on, and then we go to the 15th and 19th century. So the questions. 15th century scientists recognized the value of something for the first time in life, for example. Okay, for the first time. So they recognize the value of what for the first time? Next one, Galileo invented the what he invented. Pascal showed a relationship between atmospheric pressure and altitude. Okay, so this is only an affirmation. Pascal showed a relationship between atmospheric pressure and altitude. So, from the 17th century, scientists could measure atmospheric pressure and temperature. Very good information. In 18th century, Franklin identified the movement of what? This guy, Franklin. He had identified what kind of movement. So you have to put it here. And in the 19th century, data from different locations could be sent to the same place by something. Yeah, like they got data. You know, data means here information, DATA, data, info. Okay, so now from different locations could be sent to the same place, to the only one place specific. Okay, so this is what we have to do here. Okay, so I have covered the questions. I have given some info about the questions here. Okay, so you can see that. Let me make it like a little bit further, right? You can see all the questions here. So I guess no problem, right? So this is what we're gonna answer. So let's go now. Let's analyze the transcript, the listening, right? So get back to me a little bit, and let's take a look on the transcript. Okay, so now here we have the transcript, yeah, of part 4. Okay, of course, if you have the book, you have also the transcript in the ending, yeah, of your book. Feel free to check it out then. Okay, and I'm gonna play. Of course, I'm gonna just skip some parts of the listening just to make it faster. So let's listen, and please now all you have to do is to follow the transcript. Again, the best way to practice this is by following the transcript, underline the difficult words that you believe that you should like take a look later for a better understanding, and then let's do it. Okay, so we're gonna play
Part 4. You will hear a lecture about the history of weather forecasting.
Okay, so now I'm gonna just move on that, okay, to make it faster. Okay, so let's go. Let's analyze the thing. Pay attention.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
In this series of lectures about the history of weather forecasting, I'll start by examining its early history. That'll be the subject of today's talk. Okay, so we'll start by going back thousands of years. Most ancient cultures had weather gods, and weather catastrophes, such as floods, played an important role in many creation myths. Generally, weather was attributed to the whims of the gods, as the wide range of weather gods in various cultures shows. For instance, there's the Egyptian sun god Ra and Thor, the Norse god of thunder and lightning. Many ancient civilizations developed rites such as dances in order to make the weather gods look kindly on them. But the weather was of daily importance. Observing the skies and drawing the correct conclusions from these observations was really important. In fact, their survival depended on it. It isn't known when people first started to observe the skies, but at around 650 BC, the Babylonians produced the first short-range weather forecasts based on their observations of clouds and other phenomena. The Chinese also recognized weather patterns, and by 300 BC, astronomers had developed a calendar which divided the year into 24 festivals, each associated with a different weather phenomenon. The ancient Greeks were the first to develop a more scientific approach to explaining the weather. The work of the philosopher and scientist Aristotle in the 4th century BC is especially noteworthy, as his ideas held sway for nearly 2,000 years. In 340 BC, he wrote a book in which he attempted to account for the formation of rain, clouds, wind, and storms. He also described celestial phenomena such as halos, that is, bright circles of light around the sun, the moon, and bright stars, and comets. Many of his observations were surprisingly accurate. For example, he believed that heat could cause water to evaporate, but he also jumped to quite a few wrong conclusions, such as that winds are breathed out by the earth. Errors like this were rectified from the Renaissance onwards.
Okay, so listen to that. Now he is going to give you
For nearly 2,000 years...
Oh, sorry, he didn't say anything. He was supposed to say, now we're going to continue. But I'm going to go back a little, okay? Just a little.
Years. This were rectified from the Renaissance onwards.
Okay, so this is the first part, yeah? That's why you can see like this cut here on the paper, okay? And of course, yeah, so it means that when we have this little space, it means that probably is going to change, like of the subtopics, the subheadings, right? But anyway, so in this part here, right, I guess I got 3 words here, okay? So sorry, let me get back there. I'm going to show you these words, and then I'm going to ask you to just pay attention on that, all right? So number 1, this first one here, right? Pronunciation, win. Okay, so this word here, wins. Like, can you see that? Okay, I am touching here, right? So, wins. I'm gonna read the description for you. Wins is sudden, yeah, like suddenly, yeah, like unexpected feeling that you must have or must do something. This word often suggests that what someone wants is not important. Okay, so example, at someone's whims, prisoners were executed at the captain's whim. It's like, so this sudden feeling that you must have or must do something. So a whim is like, okay, let me give you a Portuguese word for that, right? But that's the point. Okay, so if you have this when, yeah, like this, was attributed to the winds of the gods. I mean, like it's like to the will of the gods, it's because they wanted. Okay, so that is I think that's the best description of that. Okay, so one way, yeah, because will is a strong word, right? Wings of the god, because the goddess, yeah, like the gods that we had here, they wanted. So one way that you can say in Portuguese, yeah, it's have you ever heard that expression? Foi pelo capricho de tal pessoa, porque simplesmente ele quis, não precisava fazer mais. Ele quis, it's like that, pela vontade dele. But not a will that is really necessary. It's just because you feel, I'm doing nothing, so let's do this, right? So that's the definition. Got it? Moving on, okay? And then after wins, we have take a look. Noteworthy. I mean, worthy, or sometimes we say worthy, yeah? So it's worthy, note it. Note is like write, okay? So if some information, like example here, the work of the philosopher and scientist Aristotle in the 4th century BC is especially noteworthy as his ideas held sway for nearly 2,000 years. Yeah? Okay. I mean, noteworthy means it's worthy to take notes and keep this information with you. Yeah? So that's it. I mean, it's important to write it down. That's the point. Okay? We have another word here, yeah, as I could say, held sway. Yeah. Let me try to give it for you something. Okay, so let me see here. Noteworthy. Okay, as his ideas held sway for nearly 2,000. Held sway here means dominated. Yeah, but because his ideas like dominated everybody. I mean, everybody believed that these ideas were like the correct thing. Yeah, so this is the meaning of, again, held sway is when something dominates, something goes all over everybody starts using that. Okay, everybody believes that this is something cool. All right, so moving on. And rectified, yeah, errors like this were rectified from the Renaissance onwards, right? I mean, rectified means that his errors, yeah, they were corrected. Okay, they were corrected after the Renaissance period of time. Okay, so rectified. Let me get here. Just a second. Rectified. Yeah, I'm gonna read it possible for you. Okay, so to correct a problem or mistake, or to make a bad situation better. So rectifying is to correct, to make it better. Simple like that, right? So these are the 3 words that I got here. So now I'm gonna continue, right, from here for nearly 2,000 years. So I'm just gonna continue the play. Enjoy and let's go. 1, 2, 3. Let it go.
For nearly 2,000 years, Aristotle's work was accepted as the chief authority on weather theory. Alongside this, though, in the Middle Ages, weather observations were passed on in the form of proverbs, such as red sky at night, shepherd's delight, red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning. Many of these are based on very good observations and are accurate, as contemporary meteorologists have discovered. For centuries, any attempt to forecast the weather could only be based on personal observations. But in the 15th century, scientists began to see the need for instruments. Until then, the only ones available were weather vanes to determine the wind direction and early versions of rain gauges. One of the first, invented in the 15th century, was a hygrometer, which measured humidity. This was one of many inventions that contributed to the development of weather forecasting. In 1592, the Italian scientist and inventor Galileo developed the world's first thermometer. His student Torricelli later invented the barometer, which allowed people to measure atmospheric pressure. In 1648, the French philosopher Pascal proved that pressure decreases with altitude. This discovery was verified by English astronomer Halley in 1686, and Halley was also the first person to map trade winds. This increasing ability to measure factors related to weather helped scientists to understand the atmosphere and its processes better, and they started collecting weather observation data systematically. In the 18th century, the scientist and politician Benjamin Franklin carried out work on electricity and lightning in particular, but he was also very interested in weather and studied it throughout most of his life. It was Franklin who discovered that storms generally travel from west to east. In addition to new meteorological instruments, other developments contributed to our understanding of the atmosphere. People in different locations began to keep records, and in the mid-19th century, the invention of the telegraph made it possible for these records to be collated. This led, by the end of the 19th century, to the first weather services. It was not until the early 20th century that mathematics and physics became part of meteorology, and we'll continue from that point next week.
Yeah,
That is the end of part 4.
that is the end.
You now have 1 minute
To answer the questions. Of course, this was the only practicing one, right? So I'm gonna make some comments, okay, about the words that I made note. And of course, if you have made notes of any other one that I haven't done here, feel free to analyze that and go to the Macmillan Dictionary, or you can send me a message directly, okay, no problem. So let's see that. On accurate, again, as I told you before, accurate means precise, like with no mistake. And after that, here on the next paragraph in this part here, we have weather vanes. So what is weather vanes? Let's take a look. Okay, so I have a very beautiful picture here, right? Take a look on that. Can you see that? This is a weather vane, right? Of course, what is that? Yeah, sometimes we have this, little thing, sometimes made like this, like an animal size, let's see, right? And when the wind comes, right, of course, the strength, the power of the wind hits this little thing, and it starts like circling, let's say, going around. Okay, so this is a weather vane. So you can see like how fast, and how strong is the wind or not. Okay, so that's the first one. And let's get back to the next one. Okay, on rain gauges. So again, let's go to this next description. Of course, you know rain, right? When we say rain, everybody understand that. Okay, but when we put gauge here, okay, it means that it's a piece of equipment actually that we use in order to measure how much rain has falling. So that is the point here. Let me see if I get a picture here for you. Okay, I don't have a good picture here, but I think you know that, right? Let me see if I get a good one here. Just a second. Rain gauge. I don't have one. Why? Just 1 second. Okay, I got it. Rain gauge. Take a look on that. I'm gonna share with you right now. Okay. I got some images here. I think it's not so difficult to understand, right? Can you see that? Take a look. Yeah, so it measures rain. More water falls, it goes high. So this is rain gauges. Okay, and let's get back. And after that, we have hygrometer, which measure humidity. Is like the same as the equipment, but uses for humidity. Okay, And after that, let me see. Thermometer. I think you know thermometer, right? Thermometer. To retell later the name of the inventor. Barometer, which allowed people to measure atmospheric pressure. Again, it's just the name of an equipment, yeah, an item that measures not water, not rain in this case, but atmospheric pressure, right? And English astronomer Halley, yeah. Halley was also the first person to map trade winds. Okay, so just names of equipment. Okay, feel free to Google just to have a better image of the item. Okay, so going down, and we have here in the how can I say, in the one before the last paragraph, the word collated. Example: people in different locations began, like in this part here. Follow me here. People in different locations began to keep records, and in the mid 19th century, the invention of the telegraph made it possible for these records to be collated. Okay, so let's see. What do we get from that? What is collated? I'm gonna make I'm gonna read here a definition for you. Okay, so just get me. Okay, so collate definition. It is to arrange information that you have collected in a sensible order. It's organized information, yeah. And do you remember what was telegraph? Yeah, it was a machine that you could share information, but it's like internet, but the old version of the thing, right? So if you collate information, is when like you write down in many papers and then you organize it in one place, specific place, yeah. For example, for nowadays, we can say, oh, we organize, we collate them in a folder. But in the past, of course, yes, everything was physical, yeah, because we had no internet at that time, yeah, like not so good as we have nowadays. Okay, so they organized that. So collate means organized information. So here the records, for these records to be collated, so to these records, this information to be organized, right? I guess yeah, I gave more uh than enough info. Okay, of course the best way would be give everything, but we have to, this is a sample test, right? So, and then the rest is the rest, no big deal. So now that I made some comments about it, so let's do the alike test, the test alike of the thing. I'm gonna share the test on your screen. I'm gonna play the audio, so you do the same on your book, and let's try to, while we listen, to answer all the questions. Okay, good luck to you, and let's do that. Let's try our best. Okay, so now I'm gonna play the audio. Okay, I'm gonna play the entire audio. It's gonna be like 9 minutes. Okay, so I will not stop anything. I'm gonna leave here the paper so you can see all the paper itself, right? Okay. Of course, my recommendation is to you do the same in your, right? Get your paper. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's enough. Maybe let me organize that. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so don't forget, write only one word for each answer, and let's go. I'm gonna make my face disappear, because now focus only on the test, and let's go. Good luck, guys. And 1, 2, 3, let it go.
Part 4. You will hear a lecture about the history of weather forecasting. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
In this series of lectures about the history of weather forecasting, I'll start by examining its early history. That'll be the subject of today's talk. Okay, so we'll start by going back thousands of years. Most ancient cultures had weather gods, and weather catastrophes, such as floods, played an important role in many creation myths. Generally, weather was attributed to the whims of the gods, as the wide range of weather gods in various cultures shows. For instance, there's the Egyptian sun god Ra and Thor, the Norse god of thunder and lightning. Many ancient civilizations developed rites such as dances in order to make the weather gods look kindly on them. But the weather was of daily importance. Observing the skies and drawing the correct conclusions from these observations was really important. In fact, their survival depended on it. It isn't known when people first started to observe the skies, but at around 650 BC, the Babylonians produced the first short-range weather forecasts based on their observations of clouds and other phenomena. The Chinese also recognized weather patterns, and by 300 BC, astronomers had developed a calendar which divided the year into 24 festivals, each associated with a different weather phenomenon. The ancient Greeks were the first to develop a more scientific approach to explaining the weather. The work of the philosopher and scientist Aristotle in the 4th century BC is especially noteworthy, as his ideas held sway for nearly 2,000 years. In 340 BC, he wrote a book in which he attempted to account for the formation of rain, clouds, wind, and storms. He also described celestial phenomena such as halos, that is, bright circles of light around the sun, the moon, and bright stars, and comets. Many of his observations were surprisingly accurate. For example, he believed that heat could cause water to evaporate, but he also jumped to quite a few wrong conclusions, such as that winds are breathed out by the earth. Errors like this were rectified from the Renaissance onwards. For nearly 2,000 years, Aristotle's work was accepted as the chief authority on weather theory. Alongside this, though, in the Middle Ages, weather observations were passed on in the form of proverbs, such as red sky at night, shepherd's delight, red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning. Many of these are based on very good observations and are accurate, as contemporary meteorologists have discovered. For centuries, any attempt to forecast the weather could only be based on personal observations. But in the 15th century, scientists began to see the need for instruments. Until then, the only ones available were weather vanes to determine the wind direction and early versions of rain gauges. One of the first, invented in the 15th century, was a hygrometer, which measured humidity. This was one of many inventions that contributed to the development of weather forecasting. In 1592, the Italian scientist and inventor Galileo developed the world's first thermometer. His student Torricelli later invented the barometer, which allowed people to measure atmospheric pressure. In 1648, the French philosopher Pascal proved that pressure decreases with altitude. This discovery was verified by English astronomer Halley in 1686, and Halley was also the first person to map trade winds, This increasing ability to measure factors related to weather helped scientists to understand the atmosphere and its processes better, and they started collecting weather observation data systematically. In the 18th century, the scientist and politician Benjamin Franklin carried out work on electricity and lightning in particular. But he was also very interested in weather and studied it throughout most of his life. It was Franklin who discovered that storms generally travel from west to east. In addition to new meteorological instruments, other developments contributed to our understanding of the atmosphere. People in different locations began to keep records, and in the mid-19th century, the invention of the telegraph made it possible for these records to be collated. This led, by the end of the 19th century, to the first weather services. It was not until the early 20th century that mathematics and physics became part of meteorology, and we'll continue from that point next week.
That is the end of part 4. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to part 4.
Well, that's it, right? And that's the end of the test. So, how was that for you? Was that easy? Was that difficult? Were you able to answer all of the questions? If not, which ones you didn't answer? Okay, so, and do you think you need help? If you need, ask me, okay? Send me a message, right? So, anyway, for today, that's it. Okay, I'm gonna be waiting for your feedback. Yeah, like on how was that for you, or if it was not possible. I need your feedback. Okay, if you were not able to answer all of them, tell me like what do you think happened? Yeah, maybe it was too fast. Maybe it was the English, yeah, very difficult to understand, or the questions, maybe you didn't get the meaning correctly of the questions, or if you did answer all of them successfully. So how was that? Was that difficult, easy? Okay, so share that with me and send me the answers, of course, so I can give you a feedback, right? I mean, that's it. Thanks a lot for today's lesson. Okay, so let's go to the next step, which is correct the things again, and of course, I see you next time, right? Thanks always for being here with me and focus on let's go over that, right? So have a good time and see you soon, guys. Take care. Bye bye, guys.